What's going on, Brooklyn College? Welcome back to another episode of Listen to This. I'm your host, EiRAM 6, coming at you live from the BK, where you can have it your way pretty much any day. 410, baby, forever though. Everywhere I go, I let them know who raised me. Love my city down, dummy. Baltimore, baby. How we feeling? Brooklyn. How we feeling? Cali friends, how y'all doing? And all my peoples in between. How's it going? Y'all good? Everyone good? Yeah? That's good. As a reminder, I will not be DJing this Friday. I repeat, I will not be DJing this Friday, but please, 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 if you can, if you feel called to, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel if you want to listen to the other mixes that I've done in episodes past. And if you would like to see me DJ once again, go ahead and come on down to the Trim Department's end of semester celebration. I'll be spinning a set there. And if you aren't able to attend that for whatever reason, I may forgive you if you come to WBCR's Beyond the Airwaves, a DJ showcase event. That is on May 14th. So once again, the Trem Department end of semester celebration, that is on the 11th from 5 to 8. And Beyond the Airwaves is May 14th from 6 to 10 p.m. I hope to see you there. And so, with all that being said, I believe it's time to introduce today's very, very lovely guests. Please give a warm welcome to Rami Mansi.
Hello, THiS. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, EiRAM 6, for having me. I'm so honored to be here. Thank yous. So right now, just as a little introduction, my name is Rami Mansi, and again, I'm so happy to be here. Just for a little bit about me, I am a junior studying childhood education here at Brooklyn College with a concentration in English, of course. Some things about me is that I love pop music. I love pop culture. I'm a big electronic music fan, so me and EiRAM get along very well. I am a huge fan of journalism. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Brooklyn College Vanguard. I am the future promotions manager for WBCR. I am an intern in the English Majors Counseling Office, as well as there's one more that I'm forgetting. It'll come to me eventually. But overall, I am very, very honored to be here. So thank you so much, EiRAM, for having me.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being on the show. So you mentioned quite a few things. You're very active on campus,
Yes.
and I love that. Could you tell me a little bit about your creative history, or just kind of what led you to all these different hats that you wear?
Yeah, definitely. So growing up, I was always a really big fan of extracurriculars. There was something about like going out of my way that I was always a big fan of. So I started off as a library rat, a library monitor, and I was that through elementary, middle, and high school. But what really clicked for me was drama. I started off in the drama program in my middle school, and I carried that into high school. So I have 6 years of drama classes under my belt. And that really, really opened a lot up for me when it comes to really learning how to write scripts, learning how to write, learning how to take charge of a project, learning how to direct something. A lot of those connections were really formed around those formative years. And I carried that into my interest in college, because what I couldn't do, what I could do in high school with my creative juices, if you will, I really pushed them forward into high school. And I really learned how to apply them in like my fields that I am in right now, which is education and journalism pretty much.
I love that. I love that. So you were the theater kid.
Oh, 100%. I love theater, loved also. Musical theater is my personal favorite though, but I can't sing good enough. So I'll stick to theater for now.
Once again, I don't buy it. Karaoke, we're going to karaoke.
Absolutely not. You can pay me in meals and I will absolutely go.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. For you, Diva, I'll always go.
Well, so theater, could you, like, what kind of drew you into theater specifically as opposed to all the other like art forms, and like just being with you here today and like, you know, any day we're at the station, you're very like expressive, so I imagine having like a theater background and being like an actor and all that sort of influence that.
Yeah, definitely. I would say growing up, especially in elementary school, I was the type of kid that like could not shut up, like for the life of me. I was the type of person where it was like I was telling the grocery store, true story. I would tell grocery stores people like my full like address, full name, every single piece of information you can. Yeah, my parents were not very happy with that. But so I wanted something to like push my energy into. And I originally wanted to do chorus, but in 5th grade when I auditioned for chorus, it didn't let me because the chorus teacher didn't like my voice. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I can't do chorus because in middle school, in elementary school, they didn't like my chorus, my singing. So I guess I'll do drama. And it was kind of like an okay, fine, whatever. So we did it. And I fell like head over heels for it. There was something that I found that was very, very fun. I loved playing theater games like Zip Zap Zop, all those fun things. Improv. I was a part of my middle school improv team, and we ended up winning because I was amazing. I spoke Spanish. And like, mind you, I can barely speak Spanish at all. So I know that I did amazing at that. And yeah, it was really, really fun though. I really used, wow, now I'm getting a lot of memories back. We were the improbables, something like that. It was fun. It was really fun. But yeah, I moved a lot of those like really positive experiences though forward though, because a lot of what I did in drama really, people really underestimate how much drama and like acting skills really go into like real life. So that's why I've always said like the most important classes I've taken are my drama classes, more than my math, almost more than my English, but not too much, but definitely more than a lot of those because I learned how to speak, how to enunciate. I used to talk like this because I couldn't pronounce my O's correctly. So I used to not be able to talk, and I used to be able to have a lot of problems. Now, R, A. Now I know how to enunciate and articulate. So that's one. My projection was also a really big thing. I was always loud, but I would always just be yelling. Now I know it's like I'm speaking with my normal voice, then now I'm speaking with my diaphragm, and now I'm actually like projecting. And it's like stuff like that where it's like for my future goals, at least as a teacher, it is so needed. And I would say so I used a lot of those skills and pushed that forward, definitely.
Awesome. Also, I can't say the word, but forget that teacher.
Yes,
the one that said they didn't like your voice.
Yeah,
no, that's a terrible
was an interesting.
thing.
Yeah, that was actually really rude of her to say, but that's okay though. She was an interesting person. I used to bang on her piano keys though, so that's probably she was probably a little biased for that. But you know what? Her and my middle school drama teacher are both. I mean, you know what? Much love to them. I feel like both of them were really, really educational, very, very nice, very good in their teaching. But both of them were very much a definition between like an educator and a teacher. Like you could be the most knowledgeable in your subject. You could know all of this beautiful information, be able to pass along great, but there's a difference between somebody that passes along information and does it effectively and somebody that really cares about like their like the path and that their students are going to get on and presenting that information to students. And I think more so my middle school drama teacher specifically, she was an educator. She was a great educator, fabulous educator, but teacher, ... I
want to pick that apart a little bit. Like, so what is the difference between an educator and a teacher, in your opinion?
So, genuinely speaking, like, on paper, there is no difference. They're like synonymous with each other. But when it comes to how it is in like actual, like in the field sounds so fancy, but in the field, the biggest thing for me is an educator is that anybody can be an educator. Anybody can be a tutor. Anybody can grab something like a textbook, learn what the textbook says, and say, oh, okay, now I'm going to tell you what it says. And I'm going to tell you it to a point that you can learn it. I'm going to teach it to you. Anybody can do that. Genuinely. It's not that hard to be an educator. Genuinely. Now, when it comes to being a teacher, you have a lot of responsibilities now. And I'm not talking about administrative work. I'm speaking with you in a classroom. As a teacher, you really have to take into consideration the students' emotions. You have to take into consideration their differentials. You have to take into consideration who the student is.
Like their background.
It's their background. That's why a lot of professors, they're amazing educators, but they're not good teachers because they pass on their information and they'll check off or X out your test results and your homework. But not a lot of them will really take into consideration, like, wow, these are a group of adults that I'm teaching, that I'm really passing on information to, and they won't. So to me, that's the difference.
Well said. Well
Thank
said.
you.
When did you, I guess, notice like, oh, this person's a teacher? And is that also what informed your decision to get into childhood education?
It's a great question, actually. I really didn't start thinking about the idea between like educator versus teacher until I became a student observer. And because in at least New York State, you have to observe for like about 500 hours or something across your entire board before you could actually become like a teacher. I know for a fact there's minimum, you have to do the 300 hours in like that last semester, but I knew that I really wanted to put in the effort to become the best that I can be when it comes to teaching before, and I can't emphasize this enough, before high school. When I made this choice to become a teacher, I knew that I needed it to be around like 8th grade. So I made my choice in 8th grade. I also grew up in a household that was very much so like from like 5th grade. What do you want to be? What do you want to be? What do you want to be? And it was like a non-stop question. It really, really irritated me growing up. So I was like, you know what? Fine. Teacher, easy peasy, done. And a lot of people were not happy about that, but I personally was. I loved it. So I made the choice to become a teacher in 8th grade, but what really motivated me to be a teacher was how school was always a second home for me. I always loved how I was always able to like whatever, no matter what was going on in my personal life, I was able to go to school and be met with like a happy face from a teacher. I was met with a structure. I was met with a lot of really, really great things that I really appreciated. And I want to be able to pass that on to students. I know that I am who I am today because a lot of people, like, I don't think they realize just how much teachers impact you. And if you ever received like services, if you ever were in like an ICT class or a special ed class, if you ever had pull-out services and had somebody come down and sit next to you in class, if you ever were an active participant in a classroom, which statistically speaking, you were at least at one point in your life, your teacher left an impact on you. And you know what? Probably teachers don't leave that strong of an impact in like high school anymore because now kids are like high school. But there are still excellent teachers there that are making impacts. And in elementary school, those are those really, really core foundational years. And even if I can make a kid smile for just one day, I know that I did my job.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
And I can like genuinely say that because you're not just like that from like a teaching perspective. You're like that with every single person that I've seen you interact with. Like, you're very warm and kind. So I think you have the disposition to be one of those very impactful teachers.
I appreciate that. Thank you, lovies.
Of course, of course.
That was sweet.
When it comes to creativity and teaching, there are already studies that suggest that creativity helps with things like retention, and I can personally attest to that. I had this teacher who very quickly became like a family friend. She was my math teacher, and me and math, ooh. No.
Very much that.
But she would come up with these songs to help you remember formulas. And I would be literally taking the test, and I'm like,
X equals negative B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4AC all over 2A.
Exactly.
And I still have no idea what that is. No freaking clue.
Pythagorean thing?
I thought it was quadratic.
Is that listen, it's been a minute, and this is why we pursue creative
and you're
stuff,
so real for that because
I don't have to remember it anymore.
That's so real because next semester I'm taking 2 math classes because I'm taking like a multi-subject teacher, and the fact that I actually have to take like an exam for math, and I have no idea what's going to be on it. All I know is going to be elementary math, and if you think that is easy, no, it is not.
Yeah,
I am very spooked out for that. So trust me, we're in the same boat.
You got it, though. I believe in you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I was just wondering if you had any like stories or situations like that similar to mine, like how my teacher used like creative methods to instill the lesson into us. Yeah. Do you have anything like that?
Interesting. Funny enough, we're actually learning that right now.
Ooh.
Like how to like make lesson plans and stuff. You learn about it in like the last few semesters, but they really kick it into high gear now. But when it comes to being a teacher, creativity is at your core. Creativity, if you are not creative as a teacher, you're the educator. You're the educator. You have to have some level of like problem solving skills as a teacher. And with that problem solving, it's not just okay, the student is not doing this. Well, I guess we're just going to go over there. No, it's not that. It's never just a black and white, well, almost never a black and white issue. Most of the time, there has to be those creative questions you have to ask your student. Say, hey, like, I got a scratch on my hand the other day and it was crazy. Do you want to hear the story? And they're going to liven up. They're going to love that story. And now it's, oh, I see on your hand you have a scratch. Where did that come from? Do you have a cool story to share? You have to figure out creative ways to get students to talk because, one, we forget that like it's become a big thing on social media to say that it's like, oh, this is like their first time living too, like this is everyone's first time living too, so don't be afraid to make mistakes, which is real. Do not get me wrong, but it's that type of mentality that we need to be giving our students as well. It's their first time living also. They shouldn't just be trusting us because we're adults. Who are we? Who are we? We're literally, I hope, well, obviously there's like a certain level of like, you're not really, but we're all strangers in that building. September and October, I don't know who you are. Take 2 steps back away from me. Absolutely not. And there is, well, technically, informally speaking, from what I've done with my own personal research, it takes 50 hours for a class to become comfortable with you to some extent, for you to learn. And that's about 2 full weeks, almost 2 full weeks of school. So it takes about like 10 school days for a student to actually go and be comfortable with you. And I say that because students need to be able to, they're part of those 50 hours also being like, who are you, who are you, who are you? So you have to find creative ways to almost jumpstart that trust almost and make them feel more comfortable with you. Because you could sit there and have conversations with them till the cows come home. But Diva, if you're not sitting down there and actually teaching them and getting them to trust your teaching, then what are you doing? Just today, actually, it's actually really funny that you asked that, because just today I had the sweetest interaction. I have to do like a paperwork thing, and I literally put it in like the comment section of the paperwork because I have to report on every meeting I have. And she was like, after we were done, she was like, hug, and she gave me a hug. She's a kindergartner, and she was like, thank you so much for the lesson and for teaching me, Mr. Rami. Literally, I was about to jump off the roof. Like, that was one of like the cutest things ever. And it's like that because it was just like that day. Today we had a really creative lesson that I didn't make it, but like to be able to like stick around and work with her, I absolutely was there to be creative and help her, because I would teach like literacy and stuff, and she gets very frustrated, unfortunately, like with herself, and she's a great student, but she will get very like uncomfortable, and I'm like, Diva, it is okay, we will work on it together, and I will figure out ways to say, okay, how can we actually make this make sense for us and for her to understand. And I literally will figure out these things in the moment, figuring out, okay, she's not understanding the difference between CHR and TR. What's the difference? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, let me use truck and church. Okay. And I'll literally put it out, and I'll put it out for her, and I'll say, oh, but look now at my lips. Literally, while I'm doing it, I'll look at my lips. Truck. Church. Do you see the way that like my mouth is moving? Do you see that? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, roundabout. And it's that mentality where it's like you have to keep being on your toes. And as a teacher, I think that's one of my favorite things about the job is the fact that I don't know what to expect.
Love that. Keep you on your toes.
Yes, always. Especially that one. She's a fun one.
So we talked about your theater background. We talked about education. You also write for Vanguard.
Yeah.
I know you do like music journalism too, right?
Yeah, I do music journalism. I do like a lot of reviews and stuff. I also write personal like analysis for like essays of like albums.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. One of my favorite one was one that I did for Slater's sophomore album, which has a very fun title. And I wrote like an entire essay over that. I have to find it. It's in my Google Doc somewhere. But it was like 6 pages, not double spaced. And it was like a whole thing about like, this is the storyline. This is the content. This is why the pose that she does on the album cover is important. And I was a manic episode. But it was amazing though. And so I do music journalism in that essence though. I do a lot of reviews. My main stuff is pop culture. I love pop culture pieces.
Such as?
Met Gala. Met Gala, be on the lookout. Rami's Reviews Met Gala edition. If it's out, it's out. So I do Met Gala pieces. I'll do stuff on like different pop culture moments, like different like iconic moments, for example. And I'll also do like self-care and mental health ones, like why like people should like stop like having imposter syndrome, like why we need to like give ourselves more credit, more time. You're born at 21. Great peace of mind. So yeah, stuff like that.
That's very cool. What got you into that exactly? Was it just like an extracurricular that you picked up here, or?
So I always wanted to do journalism in high school because they started a newspaper, but then I couldn't do drama in the newspaper at the same time, and I was so upset. I was so upset, and so then I was like, you know what? Oh, well, fine, whatever. I was doing my tour for Brooklyn College. I didn't do a lot of tours. I only toured 2 schools, this one and another one. And when I was doing my tour, I was with my sister, and we were like, oh, wow, this place is so nice. I loved it immediately. And then the crazy thing is when we were scrolling by, my sister picked up a newspaper and was like, oh my gosh, they have a newspaper. You should sign up for it. Literally, I was like, I don't know. Maybe. I'll think about it. I was just like offhanded, like I really didn't care. But then the cool thing happened where I kept signing up for stuff because I did every single freshman event you could think of, every single one. I cannot emphasize that. USG Mixer, open houses, meet the whatever, the beep, and so then all that stuff. And so then one day though, I was on social media and I was just came across the Instagram for the newspaper again, and I was like, ding dong ding, ding dong ding, ding 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 ding. Oh my god, I should sign up for the newspaper. And literally like that like hit me like a brick. And so then what I did was I emailed the editor-in-chief my resume in a zip file. In a beeping zip file, beep, 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 beep. Literally, I wanted to like kill my beeping self because like looking back on it, because it was like so embarrassing. I remember she emailed me back and she was like, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so happy that you connected your resume. It's actually, you can't see it because I'm not going to download that. And you know what? Looking back, she obviously could have opened it up and done that, but she didn't know who I was. Right. And this goes back to trust, strangers, all that stuff. So she asked me to email it back with a doc, and I was like, oopsies. So I sent it in a doc. And from there, I attended the first meeting, and as they say, the rest is history.
Very cool.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that little side quest story.
Yeah, thank you. No, it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah. But about trust and education, what are your thoughts on the current landscape today?
How much time do we have left? How much time do we have left on the episode? That's a great question. I think we're moving in a very interesting way right now with AI and with computing, computer, with a lot of computers. But I don't feel 100. I still think we should stick to a lot of traditional methods. However, let me say this. I think it's education. What is education at the end of the day? Teaching people how to be humans and are productive members of society. And you can only be a productive member of society if you're actually prepared for it by people who should be knowing what's going on. So what is in today's society that you need to be prepared for, right? You got to learn how to use AI. Debatable. Personally, I don't think so, but I would think it's stupid if we didn't be like, hey, this is ChatGPT. Yeah. Put in a question. This is the response you get. Okay, now never use it again. No. But like that mentality, right? I do think that it is very important to teach kids how to use computers. Absolutely. And not just stuff like power on, power off, but no. .com, .org, .edu, .net. What's the differences? Do we know that? Do you know the difference? What's the difference between .org?
Org is organization. Edu is educational, establishment, right? .gov, obviously, government.
Yes.
And .com is more like that could be literally anything.
Yes.
So they're not as reliable.
Excellent. I'm actually doing my lesson plan on that, but I'll get to that another time. But that is the differences between all those. You get a high five, loves it.
Oh yay, thanks.
And so then, and see, that was a teaching method right there. I just slid that right in there.
It's working. Wow, you're a
positive
natural.
reinforcement.
What a natural.
I love high fives. Those are my go-to always when a student does a good job. I'm like, high fives. But yeah, and so then I do think it's important to teach kids how to use computers, teach them how to type on their phones and how on tablets and on computers. I think that's so important. Our students should be learning how to read on books.
Yes.
In a book in front of their hand, in their lap, and they're pointing and tracking the words with their finger. Learning how to read on a laptop is very interesting to me. I do think that it is important to, of course, split up the time, be like, okay, this is how you do it, all that stuff. However, I'm not sure if people know this, but all state examinations are online now. All of them. For like elementary schoolers, they are all taking their exams on laptops, all of them. And it's literally just click it, move on. So it's no longer paper, which is like, you know what? One, great for the environment. I am sure the environment is beautiful for it. And that is important. And I do love that. Here's what I will say though. Since we are living in a post No Child Left Behind little educational state, so standardized testing is still very much the norm. Our schools prioritize state testing and making sure that our students are up to date for their state tests for them to do the best they can. So they will stick to whatever guidelines the exams have. And if one of the exams says, if the exams are, we're going to be online, that means you need to teach your students how to read online. So that means they're going to be spending much more time on their laptops, reading on their laptops, answering questions on their laptop, learning how to read on a laptop, do all that stuff, and then maybe do some stuff on scrap paper, if anything.
Or getting distracted by said laptop.
I love that word. I love that word with a big D. Capitalize it. I think we are getting really, really distracted. And you know what? And I don't even blame the people who are making the curriculum, because look at it. Look at what everything is going on right now. When was the last time you saw somebody using a notebook in class?
I still use a notebook, but
no, and I do also, and you're so real for that. But it's like, if you compare how many people are using notebooks now to what 3-4 years ago, I would argue that there is a very big difference. And you know what? To a certain extent, it is better because you have 5 notebooks, a million notebooks in one when it comes to having a laptop. But at the same time, I do think that everybody's getting distracted now with a bunch of different things. Students are getting distracted in class with their attentions has been like an all-time low. We are getting distracted when we have our laptops because now we're focusing on other things and doing other responsibilities.
Let me check my email.
Let me check my emails. I probably shouldn't say this on your podcast, but I also do because I feel like it's one, relatable, and two, I trust us and you're super fun. If you see me with a laptop open in a class, just know 2/3 of the time I am not doing your work. I am doing another task. I am editing another doc. I am doing a million other things. I am not reading your paper. Sorry, not sorry. So it's that mentality, though, of the stuff that we need to do, though. So it's like when it comes to getting distracted, it is becoming a very, very prevalent detail, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I also believe that you use different parts of your brain when you actually put pen to paper. I cannot remember where I read that, but I do believe that that's a thing. And I feel like it sticks better. Me personally, I learn like visually, if someone shows me something and they do like a good job, like, and I'm there to see it, like I pretty much got it. But it also, like, when it comes to things like theory and knowledge and things like, for whatever reason, I do not remember it if I am typing furiously along with the professor or whatever it is, but I will remember it better if I'm writing and asking them to repeat themselves or like, oh wait, could you actually say that again? Like as I'm writing, which I know it's not as quote unquote efficient or as fast, but it does, I think, yield a better result for me personally.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to that type of stuff, and you're absolutely right when it comes to the way that we work with the way that we were taught for the most part. You were raised in a more traditional, or in a more traditional light of English and like teaching, education. When it came to pen, paper, pencil, get your pencil, bring your whiteboard if you want, like stuff like that. Now students are literally being taught to read. Get your iPad, go to the computer cart, Everyone has a number, all that stuff right now. And so then when it comes to that type of stuff, they're being now wired to be able to read more better on a laptop. And it is really different because it's like the way that you read on a laptop and the way that you read in a book is two very different things. Now, am I saying that books are just dying out? No, absolutely not. There is still a ton of books and classes. Being a reading traditional is still very much a very prevalent detail.
I also love the feel of a book, personally.
The smell of a new book, or like the smell of an old library book, is something that will always get me very always. That and the smell of chlorine at a pool. I love that smell. Oh my God. It is literally like CARACK. Like it is in my veins. And then I'll just follow it up with a line. But no, I love that video. Have you ever seen that video? I just like take that beep and inject it into my veins. Oh, yes. And then I'm going to follow it up with a snort. And it is one of the funniest videos. I love her. Education with children. Yeah. So
I'm so sorry. That pivot into
so second graders, am I right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but so yeah, you were saying EiRAM 6.
I love you.
I love you too, Diva.
Thank you for being on. I love the range that we have in this room. The range in this room is great.
The R in Rami stands for range. Always, always, always. And EiRAM. Oh my gosh.
Hey. But no, yeah, that pretty much trust in education. There was another question that I was gonna ask you. Unfortunately, I think I'm blanking on it right now. And
Can I ask you a question, EiRAM?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever thought about being a teacher?
Yes, actually. I thought about I changed my major many times.
Real?
Like, many, many times. Brooklyn College is also not my first college. I've been...
Interesting.
Yes, I've been around, but yes. One of my majors was English, and I was going to be an English teacher.
Wow.
Because I actually enjoyed writing papers to an extent. I liked breaking down like themes and character analysis and books that we had to read if they were good books. Sometimes when you had to do it for a book that you didn't like, it sucked. But like, I enjoyed that, and I liked... I don't know, I just enjoy literature and the way that you can, storytelling as a whole, I suppose, is what I really enjoyed about that. But then...
Yeah, what made you go out of it?
I think that I am a good teacher. I think I lack the patience is what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. Because I have up until, like, you need a phenomenal amount of patience to be a teacher or an educator. And me, I just simply don't. I'm not like, I don't know, like, I think I have like an average amount of patience with things, but I feel like you need beyond average amounts of patience to, you know, like, I'm not like a hurry up, like, I'm not mean, but I'm just like, oh, why don't you get it? What did I not?
See, you know, like, and to the best extent of that, like, I can share right now, a lot of what I teach, there's one student that I work with, and she has a problem with something, what is it called? She does something called deletion. Deletion is when somebody is looking at a sound or like a word, and they will delete a sound from the word because they are rushing. A lot of times it's because the student is rushing. Take the word like steal. Steal. No, I have a better one. Sleek. Sleek is like what? Like sly, like sleek, like very elegant. When I asked her to pronounce the word, she kept saying seek, like looking, seek.
I see.
And so then I was like, no, it's like sul. And so then what I was like, okay, repeat after me. S, e, k, sleek, seek. First sound, okay. Now what's the second sound? Lee. And I'm just like, okay, where did we get from this? And it's that type of patience where it's like I've told people and they're like, yeah, no, I would crash out. And it's just like,
it takes a special kind of person. You are doing God's work.
No,
thank you.
But it's so much fun though, because like the good thing is that like of course it's hard like that, but then there's like a cathartic feeling when they're like sleek, second sound, ooh, and I'm like, yes,
got it.
Oh my God,
yeah.
And I learn it, and I'll learn. I have freaked out multiple times because I'm just like, yes, you got it. I give double high five. Double high fives are a very rare but special occurrence in the Mr. Mansi classroom. But that's the type of mentality though. But so yeah, thank you for answering my questions though.
Yeah, thank you. Just patience is a virtue, as they say,
yes.
And it takes a certain type of person to be able to do that in a teaching environment. I think if I were to ever, like, I don't know, you never know what could happen in life. I think that as I mature, my patience gets better. So maybe like later in life, I could see me like teaching people, but they would definitely be like an older crowd. No shade to the kiddies.
Professor. Become a professor. A lot of people really like becoming professors for that reason, because they like teaching, but they want to teach people who like will actually have conversations and they'll grade stuff that'll be like, wow, it's interesting. Not just you put an A on the wrong side of the word. Like they want to teach other things. Me? No. No. I need as basic as possible. As foundational as possible. I cannot be grading essays about Shakespeare. I can't, because I'm just gonna make a bunch of points where it's like, sure, great job, right? This is ChatGPT. Like that is what I need to be doing. But that's what I don't want to be doing. But say that's why I love like spelling. Like I love a spelling test. Love spelling test. Love informal assessments where I'm going up to, around, like walking around a student's table and being like, So yeah, I saw that you wrote long E here. How do you say long E again? Pop quiz. How do you say long E?
Are you actually?
Yeah, that's like a genuine question. How do you say it?
Long E.
Long E.
E.
Yeah, literally, I'm not even joking. Long E is like words like see, keep, leak. No, leak isn't like the vegetable, like L-E.
Yeah, L-E.
But yeah, long E is just E-E, double E. So yeah, and there's like short E that's like like elephant or like other stuff. Like you get the vision though. But see, that's why long E is one of my favorite things to teach. But that's the type of stuff that I want to be grading on an exam. I don't need to be grading anything else.
Right. I definitely see creativity and education becoming more intertwined in the years to come, especially with the rise of like ChatGPT and AI. Because like, for one, I am genuinely worried about like people's critical thinking abilities, especially if they become accustomed to like AI doing the critical thinking for you. So I think that there will definitely be like potential, like as an educator, to figure out like, okay, how can I get them to actually enjoy this part of your functionality, and also how can I creatively like detect it, I suppose, like when they are doing it. But
yeah, I would say a lot of times when it comes to AI, you know what? The theory of AI, I think is a great idea in theory, where it's like you have a little assistant.
As a tool. A tool.
Emphasis on literally tool. It would be amazing. But now we're seeing it, and it's almost hypocritical for like teachers to say like, we don't like AI because one, a lot of them use it. A lot of the schools that I'm walking into right now, they're posters up being like, Happy Thanksgiving. Babe, go on Google. Canva Premium, 3 minutes. You don't even have to pay me. I will make you one. Just don't use AI. And you know what? We could even go into that whole discussion about how overworked school administration and staff and supporting staff are. So AI makes your life easy. I don't blame them at all. What I will say is I don't really like... when I did my student observations, one of my teachers, the platform that the school was using, they had AI fact-checking the online homework, and then with the online homework, she would have to fact-check the grade that the AI gave the student, because they would always overshoot. Like a response that should have gone like a 70 or a 75 would get like a 90, and it would say like, you did a great, hi EiRAM, you did a great job on this work, make sure to check your details again, okay, bye. And then the teacher would have to be so that's actually wrong. The details were actually the best part, but everything else was terrible. Like, that's the mentality where it's like, seeing AI taking away that creativity from teachers being able to give feedback, to be able to do all these things. It is very spooky.
I think that it's going to hopefully, because I have many thoughts on the educational system, and I think that like written examinations and stuff are already like the way that we do it. It's very much like memorize, regurgitate, forget about it. And I don't think that's a good way to assess someone's education or comprehension of a subject. I think that, and then when you introduce these new technologies like AI, they can literally like shit out a paper in 2 seconds from like a very poorly written, grammatically incorrect prompt. I think it's going to kind of make itself obsolete, and then kind of it would be on the educator to come up with a new way to assess their students. Personally, I don't know. These are just my thoughts. I would like to see more of like hands-on examination or like an oral board. Like, we are having a conversation and I need you to explain to me what this concept is. Yeah. Because I think that, or like show me on the board, like draw it out, like do it in front of me. I'm just going to observe. I think that says more about if a person is retaining something or not than if they can memorize the answer, pick A, B, or C, and then go forth.
See, and I love that so much because you're literally highlighting what education is about. There's a term that's, well, it's not really a term. It's a pretty general term. Comprehension. That's the term. You know that a student really learned something when they can take the information and apply it to something else. Yes. That's how you know that somebody really learned something. To be able to say, oh, I just taught you how to do fractions. That's great. Teach your friend right next to you how to do it. And apply it to this question about pies in the kitchen or something. That is how we do it. And a lot of times students will just memorize. Hi, I'm also a student. You're also a student. We all know that at this point, it's just do your test and go home. And we'll study. Of course we'll study. We'll study. And at least me, I'll study enough. But I know that at the end of the day, you're not really going to know how much I really learned unless you do an oral exam. Now, let me say this. Is this highly hypocritical of me considering I just almost failed one of my oral exams for my English class? Absolutely.
Listen.
Absolutely. But want to know what happened? I did not fail. At least I don't think so because I got enough questions right.
Period.
Pookie. That was like the gayest step I think I've ever done in my life. And it wasn't even your fault. It was literally me. Just as a visual, just as an explanation. EiRAM went for like a full dap like normal. And I turned it into like, you know how somebody gives over their hand and be like, oh, Mashadi, so nice to meet you. I literally turned it into that. So I'm going to provide a visual demonstration on EiRAM's story soon. But that was very interesting.
I think that was a phenomenal note to end it on because we were just about at time. But before we go, just to kind of bring us home, what does creativity mean to you?
Creativity is freedom. Creativity is the ability to take your own intuition and trust it. I think in this, not even in this day and age, but just as who we are as people, we're surrounded by each other so much, surrounded by each other's ideas so much that we can, of course, help each other to the best that we can, but nobody's really going to know how to work with your creativity until you're the one that really harnesses it. And I think that's what creativity means to me, trusting yourself.
That is beautiful, and I just want to say I think you're going to be a phenomenal teacher, not just an educator, because of your warmth and your kindness and your nurturing spirit. Like, I can just see all of that about you, and I think that those qualities are very important in a teacher, especially working with children. So I know that you're going to do great things.
Puss, puss. That's XOXO in Swedish. All right. Kisses. Thank you so much, EiRAM, for having me. I'm really, really grateful.
Thank you for being here. And thank you for listening. This has been Listen to This. Bye-bye.
EiRAM. EiRAM.
Please. This next segment, it's a little snippet from after the episode was over, and it's addressed to my guest on this episode, Rami Mansi. I decided to include it at the end because when and if you decide to watch this episode, Ram, today, this week, later in life, at any point, I just want you to be able to like hear these words and just kind of accept and internalize them. Like if you're ever doubting who you are, what's going on in your life, or questioning yourself, I just want you to have this little bit as evidence that you are already such an incredible person and you do make a difference in the lives of others. And because of this, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you will continue to make waves wherever you go, especially in the lives of young children. So this little bit is dedicated to you, Ram. Thank you so much for being a light. I wish we had an army of you, but of course, there can only be one. Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for being a safe, kind person. There's something that I've been wanting to tell you.
Yes.
But I wasn't sure how or when, and I thought maybe it would be like too intense. I don't know.
What's the question? No, I'm excited.
Okay. It's not really a question. It's just something I wanted to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that we are still getting to know each other.
Yes.
I think we're going on maybe like two-ish months, something like that. Yeah. But in those 2 months, you have been very warm and very kind to me, and that's one thing. But I'm very observant, and I may not say much, but I be watching, and I notice that you aren't just that way towards me. You're like that to literally everyone that enters this space, every single person that I've seen you interact with. And then just hearing you today talk about your experiences, like how you could go to school and be met with a kind face. You have been that kind face for me in these past 2 months. And also to be vulnerable with you. I have a hard time letting people, I can get along with people fine, honestly, because I operate on if you're kind to me, I'm kind to you.
Absolutely.
I don't have any animosity towards people. I have my days because I'm a human, but I'm not
Some people are just bitches.
Right, I'm not like that. But even though I can socialize and be that person, I have a hard time letting people be closer to me beyond that, especially when it comes to things like physical touch.
Yes.
But you are a very physically affectionate person. And right off rip, you're immediately hugging me. Yeah. And I am unpacking that myself in therapy. So I'm like, they are being nice. Allow it. It's okay. Allow it, And then I would tell myself this until eventually I didn't really have to anymore, because you just were always that way, And when you have been hurt by people, it's just generally very hard to allow that kind of thing. And I just wanted to thank you, because it has oh my God, I'm getting emotional.
No.
Just you being yourself, just your normal, happy, positive, affectionate self, and all the times, it's never unnoticed, when you give me hugs, when you kiss my forehead or something, when I just walk over and say nothing and put my head on your shoulder and you just let it happen. All of that, without you even realizing or intending for it to, has helped heal things in me to where I can allow more interactions like that to happen with people, so I have an easier time letting people hug me. I have an easier time letting people be physically close to me. And it's not I do my work.
No, we see
but you just being yourself really helped. So I just wanted to thank you.
Always love you. That's so interesting. Well, first off, I love you very much, and I hold you very close to my heart. And that's a genuine thing. I really do want you to keep, I do want to stay in your life for a very long time, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, I'm really happy that, you're saying that. And it's interesting that you say that, because when it comes to physical touch, usually like the way that people, I wrote a poem about this like 2 months ago, but a lot of times like I did not receive like physical touch growing up a lot, like from like my siblings, from my parents. So I like that's why I always feel like I'm always doing a little bit too much now, because I always am just like I'm literally 24/7. I'm like Baymax, where it's like I'm always wanting to give hugs, kisses, always. So when it comes to that stuff, it comes like almost second nature to me to like do that stuff. But I have to be the one to like hold back and say, wait a minute. Some people are like they don't fuck with that. Sometimes you got to do the dap. Sometimes not everyone can be a hugger. And so when I hear stuff like that, it makes me feel a lot better to make sure it's like, oh, because maybe I'm not doing too much. Maybe I am making her feel uncomfortable. So always, if I ever am, tell me. But I'm really happy to hear that it's helping out at least a little bit.
It does.
And you also make it very easy to like appreciate and hold you very close in somebody's heart. I hope you know that. And I'm not just saying this swear. But I genuinely feel like you're a very easy person to talk to. I feel like when it comes to all of our conversations, I've always had a really fun time. And even if it's like conversations or like what times we're talking and it's just like, can I see you in my office? It's always been very, very fun, very lighthearted. And I'm very grateful that at least for one more semester, I'll be able to stick around with WBCR a little longer, and I'll be able to hang out with you guys, and we're gonna have an even closer bond going into this summer and the fall, because once the fall hits, you're coming to the bar with me. That's what I'm telling you right now. The Friday of Halloween week is Tuesday is my birthday. Friday, I'm bringing like 20 people into the nearest club. I don't know which one you planned out when it comes time to, but and I want you to come to that type of stuff. You know, like I want to be able to spend more time with you because you make it very, very easy to love. And if you were hard to love, we would have worked on that also. But I am very, very comfortable in your space though. And anytime I know that like you're in the office or like you're coming, I'm like, okay, I can breathe now. Like I know she's here. Like we're gonna be cools. So you're such a safe space. So I really do appreciate you, love you.
Likewise, baby. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Once again, that portion was dedicated to Rami Mansi. Thank you so, so much for being a real-life example of what it means to be a safe person, to be a kind person, and to be a light in this world. If you stuck around this long and you resonated with anything that I said, I want you to know that I see you and I feel you. It is so hard to let people in again, especially if you have been hurt before. Maybe, you've been acting out of survival mode. Maybe you haven't always shown up as your best self, and so you struggle allowing kindness to be present in your life now. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve it because of the things that you've been through or the way that you acted when you were just trying to survive. I'm just spitting off the dome. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, as they say. But those are thoughts that I have had at different stages in my healing journey where I felt like I could not receive kindness, or I didn't deserve it, or that I was difficult to love. If you have thought those things or feel those things, I want you to know it's not true. It's just a very unfortunate byproduct, cognitive distortion of the things that have occurred. And, I feel you, I see you. Just keep working through it. And you haven't met every person that's going to love you yet. You haven't met all the people that are going to be kind to you. There are still kind people in this world. I know that we're living through some really intense, scary, insane times, and it feels like everyone is just distracted or jaded or disconnected from each other. Don't believe the hype. Put yourself out there, but also go at your own pace because it is really hard and challenging. And if you are doing the work today or any day, or you're wherever you are in your healing journey, I see you. And I'm really proud of you. It is me personally, with what I shared with Rami, I was challenging myself to be okay with like physical closeness and affection again. So That's why I was like okay with him doing that. But you are also allowed to be like, hey, I'm not a hugger. Could we dap instead? How about a fist bump? Like that is okay too. Just make sure you're expressing what you need, because most of the time people don't know, or they aren't trying to be like offensive to you. They're just kind of going off of what their love language is. And it's our job to communicate where we're at or what we are and are not okay with. So yeah, I just wanted to include that in there for Rami to come back to whenever he needs, and for you, if you're still listening. Thank you for listening, and I encourage you to take a page out of Ram's book and practice kindness, because you genuinely never know who you are helping along the way. A little act of kindness really does go a long way. I personally would not be here today if I didn't experience kindness from others when I needed it most. You never know who you are helping to heal, even if they don't say it to you. I wanted to make it a point to tell people more when I appreciate them or when they've made an impact on me, because, and I've said this in many of my episodes, and I will probably never stop talking about it, but life really is short, y'all. Give people those flowers. If they matter to you, let them know. And just practice being kind. Don't be a doormat. Don't be nice. We don't do nice. But just practice being kind, because it really does help. And I think we need that now more than ever in today's world. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Listen to This with the EiRAM 6.